Hi everyone, this is Ruth and welcome back to my channel. This channel is mainly about my home lab where I build different setups, test networking tools, and experiment with infrastructure projects. My main goal with this lab is to practice cybersecurity skills in a real environment. So over time, I'll be building out different systems, security tools, and monitoring platforms. This video is part 3 of installing and configuring pfSense inside Proxmox. In this part, we'll configure the WAN and LAN interfaces and prepare pfSense so we can access it through the web interface. Let's get started. After installation, we're presented with the pfSense console menu. To configure the interfaces, let's enter option 1, set interface IP address. We now see the available interfaces. Number 1 is for WAN, number 2 is for LAN. Let's start with the WAN interface. When prompted, enter number 1 or WAN. Next, we're asked configure IPv4 via DHCP. We select no since we're assigning a static IP address. Now, enter the WAN IPv4 address. This should be in the same network as the router. For example, if the router is using 192.168.1.x, enter an available IP from that range. Make sure the IP is not already in use and it's different from the router's IP. Next, enter the subnet bit count. Let's enter 24. This equals to 255.255.255.0. That means the first 3 parts define the network. The last part is used for devices. It's allowing up to 254 usable IP addresses. Now, let's enter the upstream gateway. This is your router's IP address, something like 192.168.1.1. Hit enter and pfSense will ask, set as a default gateway, type Y and confirm. This is exactly what we want since all internet traffic needs to flow through the router. Next up, a few quick options. When it asks about IPv6 via DHCP, type N. When it asks for an IPv6 address, just press enter to skip. And when it asks to enable DHCP on WAN, type in again. The WAN interface should be receiving an IP address, not handling them out. Now, when it asks revert to HTTP, type N. We're keeping HTTPs enabled. It's more secure and there's no reason to downgrade. And that's it. The WAN IPv4 address is now configured. Press enter to continue back to the main menu. Back at the menu, enter 2 to set interface IP addresses. Then select 2 again for LAN. This is where we configure the internal network. Now it asks again to configure IPv4 via the HCP. Enter N to set static IP address. Enter the LAN IPv4 address. This has to be on a completely different network from WAN, so something like 10.0.20.1. This address will act as the gateway for every device on your LAN. For the subnet mask, enter 24. That gives us a network of 10.0.20.0/24, which supports up to 254 devices. When it asks for the gateway, just press enter and leave it blank. That's intentional. pfSense itself is the gateway for the LAN, so no separate address is needed here. Now, IPv6 comes up again. Same answers as before. Type N for the HCP and press enter to skip the address. We're sticking with IPv4 for this setup. And one final familiar question. Revert to HTTP, type N. HTTP stays on. That's the LAN fully configured. The system now displays the web interface URL 10.0.20.1. Save that address. It's how you access pfSense from your browser. At this point, both WAN and LAN are set up and ready to go. pfSense knows where traffic comes in and where it needs to go. The next step, we'll open a browser, head to that address, and walk through the web-based setup wizard. See you there!